Coming up on tonight's broadcast, the importance of staying active. OSU seniors prepare for graduation.
ASOSU hopefuls entering the final stretch, and of course we have a weather update and a look at sports. All that and more right here on the Beaver News.
Good evening and welcome to your Tuesday night edition of the Beaver News. I'm Hayden Wilcox.
And I'm Joseph Hedberg. How cool would it be to watch cult classic films and document for a class? Right now, that is what's going on for Emily Barton, a senior in economics. Barton, a University Honors College senior and economics major, enrolled winter term in English 245, taught by Oregon State University film historian and English professor John Lewis. The class of 12 students was given the opportunity to catalog 48 films for the 1980s that will be put into the American Film Institute's online archive. Their work is part of a larger effort on behalf of the AFI to have accurate online records available for every American feature-length film produced from 1893 through 2011. I don't know about you, Hayden, but as an NMC student, I've taken a lot of fun classes, and this one sounds like it would be great.
Well, it sounds like it might be a little more work than it seems, but it sounds like a great idea to learn about film history. After an exciting primary election, the position of ASOSU president and vice president has been narrowed down to 2 tickets. Presidential candidate Amelia Harris and running mate Dan Cushing will be challenging current Speaker of the House and presidential candidate Drew Hatlin and Carly Olson. As reported by Don Eiler of the Daily Barometer, Hatlin and Olson won out against Harris and Cushing in the popular vote by 153 votes in the primary election. The two pairs beat out presidential hopeful Jackson Lyle, who was beaten but not broken, and said that despite the loss, it was a great experience. The candidate debate will be held tomorrow at noon in the MU Lounge.
Hey ladies, do you feel you're exercising enough? Do you get out there and stay active to the best of your ability? Well, new research has shown that women who lack exercise are more at risk for developing metabolic syndrome. Oregon State University reports that women are less likely than men to get at least 30 minutes of exercise per day, resulting in greater odds of developing metabolic syndrome, a risky and increasingly prevalent condition related to obesity. Metabolic syndrome is the name for a group of at-risk factors including high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and extra weight around the middle part of your body, which occur together and increase the risk of coronary disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. The study, now online in the journal Preventative Medicine, was conducted at Oregon State University by Paul Leprezzini and Bradley Cardinal, professors of social psychology of physical activity at OSU. So what are you waiting for? Even with the busy life of a college student, we all owe it to ourselves to stay fit and healthy.
A social night opportunity for Oregon State students presented itself on Saturday in the form of a cultural experience as the LaSalle Stewart Center presented India Night. This program consisted of entertainment and food meant to reflect the cultural diversity of India. Neil Rajput, vice president of the ISA, told the Daily Barometer's Vinay Ramakrishnan, quote, "India Night is a compilation of talent, a showcase where everyone can get under one roof."
Oregon State University is expanding a program at Central Oregon's Cascade campuses for K-12 educators. This summer, the school will begin offering 2 new graduate teaching degrees. One is for teaching of advanced mathematics, the other is for integrated sciences. The new offering will complete graduate teaching degrees already offered in the language arts and social studies. The first classes are set to begin this summer.
A brief ceremony was held this morning to honor the renaming of Education Halls, as reported by the university. Education Hall has officially been renamed the Joyce Colin Furman Hall in recognition of Joyce Furman, class of '65, and longtime advocate for the university. This day also marks the official end of the extensive renovation of the building, the oldest building on campus, which was first built in 1902. The redesigned building now fits OSU's strong focus in science, engineering, technology, and math.
Today and tomorrow of this week, in the Memorial Union Ballroom will be hosting the graduation fair for all you seniors, where you can come by and get information about the ceremony and make contact with OSU Alumni Association during the graduation fair. You can also purchase items including caps and gowns, yearbooks, commencements, announcements, class rings, and other souvenirs. But don't worry if you are unable to attend, because you will also have the opportunity to purchase these items at the OSU bookstore after April 19th. Both days of the fair will be running from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. down in the Memorial Union Ballroom, so make sure you stop by.
In honor of Earth Day, Oregon State University will be throwing its annual Earth Day celebration this Saturday from noon to 5. This event will be held at the student-run organic farm on the outskirts of Corvallis. The event is free, and attendees are encouraged to get ready to get their hands dirty, as students and volunteers plan to plant beets, lettuce, greens, and over 10,000 onions. As reported by the university, live music and fresh vegetarian chili will also be provided at the event. A shuttle service to and from the site can be found outside the OSU Beaver store and will run every 15 minutes.
The city of Corvallis may soon be seeing less plastic bags around the community. On May 9th, the Administrative Services Committee of the City of Corvallis will be presented with the ordinance calling for a ban on single-use plastic bags throughout the Corvallis community. This proposal exists as more localized response to Senate Bill 536, which had failed to pass through the Oregon Senate in June of last year. According to Drew Wilson McGrath of the Daily Barometer, the proposed ban, endorsed by Surfrider and Environmental Oregon, could go into effect as soon as May 22nd and calls for an additional fee of 5 cents on additional paper bags used in lieu of the plastic standard. The 5-cent fee is meant to function as a tool to raise awareness of reusable shopping bags as an effective alternative to potentially hazardous items like the plastic bag. One of the main issues at hand on the proposed ban of plastic bags is in regards to the negative effect it will have on local businesses that rely on the single-use bags to keep operation costs relatively low. A tentative date for the City Council's decision is set for May 21st.
A new study by the scientists here at OSU have found that an increased seawater carbon dioxide level is a threat to the maturation of oysters. The study, co-authored by OSU's Burke Hales, found that ocean acidification promoted by pollution inhibits larval oysters from developing shells, thus severely damaging commercial production. A $10,000 a year business. According to the study founded by NOAA, the increased acidification kills oyster seeds and severely damages young larval oysters, which could be devastating to local hatcheries.
A survey on the loss of northern hemisphere of large predators, particularly wolves, concludes the current populations of moose, deer, and other large herbivores far exceed their historic levels and are contributing to disrupted ecosystems. The research published today by scientists from Oregon State University examined 42 studies done over the past 50 years. It found that the loss of major predators in forested ecosystems have allowed game animals populations to greatly increase, crippling the growth of young trees and reducing biodiversity. This also contributes to deforestation. More information can be found on the Oregon State website.
Bandanas and Nerf guns have returned to Corvallis, which can only mean one thing. It's time once again for the annual game of humans versus zombies. Starting as a small club, this game has taken campuses across the nation by storm, as students try to avoid designated zombies as they jump from class to class with only a Nerf gun to protect them. The game began last Friday and will last until Saturday, with each side having to complete specific missions dependent on the in-game storyline. So what do you think, Joe? Do you think the zombies will win, or what do you think about this?
I think I'm going to side with the humans on this one, Hayden. It's good to know that we have students out there practicing their safety for a real zombie apocalypse.
All right, well, Joe and I will continue crossing our fingers for a continuation of the human race. But in the meantime, we'll be taking our first break. Don't leave, because when we come back, we'll have a look at your local forecast in just a minute. Stay tuned.
As I hope all of you know, aware, today is not only April 17th, but also the date by which everyone was supposed to have submitted their income taxes. Normally the day is April 15th, But since the 15th fell on a Sunday, the IRS pushed back the deadline to the next operational business day. However, if you didn't submit your taxes, have no fear. There are still several operations available and certified public accounting firms open all year round to help you file correctly.
Reports of tornadoes with speeds exceeding 125 miles per hour have rampaged through most of the Midwest and Central Plains states, decimating towns along the way. In southwest Iowa, the town of Thurman, home to 300 people, was completely evacuated before the storm was able to destroy 75% of the town. In Woodward and northern Oklahoma, the tornado caught many by surprise when it destroyed electrical sources meant to power early citywide alert systems. CNN reports that 29 people have been injured, 5 have been killed as of today. Luckily for us, the most severe weather we have to usually deal with is rain. We now go to Emily Schucht to see what sort of weather is in store for us for the rest of this week and to see if the sunshine is planning on sticking around much longer. Emily?
Hello, Corvallis. I'm Emily Schucht with your 5-day forecast. Tonight, expect to see a slight rainfall of 54 degrees and a low of 46 degrees at night. Wednesday, we expect to see morning rain followed by some clear skies in the afternoon with a high of 59 degrees during the day and a low of 45 degrees at night. Thursday, we are unfortunately back into the rain with a high of 57 degrees and a low of 54 degrees at night. Friday, the rain continues throughout the day with a high of 68 degrees and a low of 40 degrees at night. Finally, Saturday, expect to see sunshine return with a high of 66 degrees during the day and a low of 48 degrees at night. That's your 5-day forecast for tonight. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Emily. Looks like bringing an umbrella is going to be a safe bet for the rest of this week.
But it looks like Saturday is going to be a great day to catch a ball game down at Goss. Every year, the Pulitzer Prize is awarded to outstanding members of the field in journalism and arts. This year, that honor went to Sarah Gainham and members of the Patriots news staff for their coverage of the Penn State sex scandal. As reported by CNN, Gainham and her staff were at the first to report the scandal and are credited with bringing it to the national spotlight. Gainham joins 11 others in the field of journalism and 6 in the arts, making a grand total of 18 Pulitzer Prizes awarded for the 2012 season.
President Barack Obama currently holds a 9-point lead over GOP hopeful Mitt Romney. The poll from CNN shows that people feel the president is more likable and more in touch with the problems facing women and middle-class Americans. According to the poll, 52% of registered voters say if the presidential election were held today, they would vote for the president, with 43% saying they would cast their ballot for Romney, the former Massachusetts governor who is making his second bid for the White House. The poll was conducted Friday through Sunday, a few days after former Senator Rick Santorum of Pennsylvania suspended his bid from the GOP nomination. The survey indicates women voters back Obama over Romney by 16 points, virtually unchanged from an 18-point advantage among women from the president in CNN's polling last month. The poll was conducted 2 days after Democrat strategist and CNN contributor Hillary Rosen created a controversy after questioning Ann Romney's qualification to advise her husband. While the GOP primary races seem to be winding down, it's clear that the race to the White House is just beginning.
In what some are calling the biggest Secret Service scandal in the history of the United States, the press has descended upon a group of Secret Service agents who allegedly had misconduct with prostitutes while on security scouting mission in Colombia. The Secret Service drew the attention of the entire globe after criminal charges were filed in regards to their actions. As reported by CNN, former Secret Service agent Dan Emmett explains that while this issue does not necessarily involve legal issues, as prostitution is legal in some parts of Colombia, but instead this incident is in violation of strict behavior rules. President Obama has declined to comment until the investigation is complete.
The makers of Wonder Bread and Twinkies went to court today to try and throw out its union contracts in a battle that leaves the iconic baker's future very in doubt. CNN is reporting that Hostess Brands, which makes Ding Dongs and a variety of other sweet treats, is asking the bankruptcy court in White Plains, New York, to tear up the labor agreements, which would, among their other things, allow Hostess to change how it funds union pensions. The hearing is expected to last 2 days. Unionized workers represent more than 3/4 of the 18,500 workers at the company. The Brotherhood of Teamsters have vowed to strike if the judge agrees with management's request and dumps the labor deals. But both management and the unions agree that the company is unlikely to survive a strike. The company filed for bankruptcy in January, its second trip to the bankruptcy court since 2004. So you might want to stock up now before Twinkies are taken off the shelves for good.
Luckily for those stockpile, Twinkies have a pretty good shelf life. We're going to take our second short break, but when we return, we'll have your sports update and look at news from around the globe. Stay tuned. Back to the Beaver News live on KBVR. A joint session between leaders of the American nations is set to take place next month in order to decide the allowance of Cuba into the regional meetings and the consideration to legalize drug trafficking within the Latin American countries. President Obama has made his stance clear in stating that the United States will not accept the prospect of legalizing drug trafficking past U.S. borders and has allocated an additional $1.3 million to increasing border protection agencies. CNN also reports that a free trade agreement between the United States and Colombia is also on the table.
5 U.S. drone strikes killed 6 suspected al-Qaeda militants in the southeastern Yemeni province of Shuabda on Monday. 2 security officials and 1 defense ministry official confirmed. CNN is reporting that the drones targeted militant hideouts, checkpoints, training facilities, and weapons warehouses in the Azaz district, considered the stronghold for al-Qaeda in Yemen. Al-Qaeda took over Azaz district March of last year, from which it has launched numerous attacks in the south of Yemen. It was the first district to fall into the hands of Islamic militants in Yemen.
Australia has made a move in the war in Afghanistan today. The NATO-supporting country has officially declared that it will remove all of its troops from Afghanistan in an effort to prepare Afghan native military to regain control of their country. Australia has provided support for the war on terror since the September 11th attack on the World Trade Center. As reported by CNN, Australia has just a force of over 1,500 troops, and predicted time for the complete evacuation of the troops is predicted at 12 to 18 months.
In very disturbing news, 3 people in Brazil were arrested after confessing to killing at least 2 women, eating their flesh, and using the rest of their remains to make meat pies that they sold in their shop and to schools and to hospitals. 51-year-old Jorge Beltoro Negroponte was arrested along with his wife and mistress. He confessed to the murders, claiming he was just following instructions given to him by the voices in his head. Police were directed to the bodies of the 2 victims by a 5-year-old girl that lived in the home and is believed to be the child of a woman who went missing in 2008. Police are continuing the investigation and believe the victim total could be more than 10.
Moving on to a decidedly lighter note, an Australian penguin was found and returned to its home after it had been stolen from its enclosure the night before, appearing to be in good condition, however. The penguin, a 6-year-old male fairy penguin named Dirk, resides at SeaWorld at Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. The penguin is apparently abducted by 3 Welsh natives who stole Dirk and kept him overnight before letting him loose the next day at the beach. SeaWorld is happy to see Dirk back at home, but none more so than his mate, Peaches. And on that note, I hand it off to Joe for a look at today's sports.
Nothing better than reuniting true love. Now, on to some sports. The Oregon State baseball team extended its win streak to 6 straight last night, beating the University of Portland. Sophomore right-hander Dan Child was lights out for the Beavers in the 6-0 win, going 7 1/3 innings strong, scattering 6 hits while allowing no runs. Junior lefty Matt Boyd and junior closer Tony Bryant shut things down out of the bullpen to preserve the shutout for the Beavers, who are now 24-11 overall and 6-6 in the Pac-12. The Beavers could use this momentum going into their next 3-game series with number 11 UCLA this weekend at Goss. A special congratulations to 4 former Oregon State baseball players who are starting in the Major League this season. Arizona reliever Joe Patterson Philadelphia reliever Mike Stutz, Chicago starting second baseman Darwin Barney, and Boston's all-star center fielder Jacoby Ellsbury all played major roles on MLB teams last year and are looking to repeat the success this season. Finally, in the world of hockey, for the first time in franchise history, the Los Angeles Kings are on the brink of eliminating the Vancouver Canucks with a 3-0 series lead in the best-of-7 games tomorrow night at Staples Center in Los Angeles. Sports Illustrated reports that Vancouver won the President's Trophy this season, awarded to the team with the best record in the NHL. If the Canucks do lose, it will be the first time in NHL history that a number 1 team that has won the President's Trophy has been swept by the number 8 seed. Vancouver, a fan favorite in the Pacific Northwest, has a lot of work to do in order to come back in this series. This has been your look at sports around the Northwest.
Well, that's all the news we have for you tonight, but thanks for joining us. Make sure to stick around to tomorrow at 7 p.m. for more of your Beaver news right here on KBVR as we try to bring you what matters in your life.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.